Area of trapezoids flipped classroom. On today's flipped classroom, we're going to determine the solutions of problems involving the area of trapezoids. We're going to use formulas to find area when given the dimensions and find the dimensions when given the area. You'll know you have it when you complete the area, flipped classroom, and the Google form at an 80%. Please keep in mind that you will get grades starting this week on your assignment, so please make sure you complete all assignments. Before you complete this particular flipped classroom, please make sure you've already watched the Alvin ISD video as well as the video on area of triangles. Also, after you're done, you're going to answer the Google form that has 5 questions. If you complete this and you receive a 60 or below, then you want to make corrections on a separate sheet of paper. Please view your score in order to understand what your score is and which questions you got incorrect. Alright, let's review some things from 5th grade. Quadrilaterals are classified into 2 categories: parallelograms and trapezoids. Parallelograms include the parallelogram, the rhombus, the rectangle, and the square. These shapes are considered parallelograms because they have 2 sets of parallel sides. A trapezoid is not considered a parallelogram because a trapezoid has 1 pair of parallel sides, whereas a parallelogram has 2 pairs of parallel sides. Therefore, trapezoids are not considered parallelograms. So let's talk about how to find the area of a trapezoid. We would actually need information from the parallelogram in order to find area of a trapezoid. We know that a parallelogram has a base and a height. And with that being said, the height of a parallelogram is on the inside. With that being said, we would know that a trapezoid is going to be considered half of a parallelogram. So, therefore, the trapezoid is half the area of the parallelogram. It takes 2 trapezoids to make 1 parallelogram. The formula for area of a trapezoid is base times height. So, I will multiply the base times the height. However, once I take half of that and create a trapezoid, I'm going to notice that I don't have 1 base, I actually have 2 bases. Base 1, base 2, or base 1, base 2. It doesn't matter which way you solve it, but there are 2 bases of a trapezoid. I will need both bases in order to figure out what that base times height is. Once I get both bases and I multiply it times the height, then I'm going to divide that information by 2. So again, you're going to add base 1 plus base 2, then you multiply times the height and then divide by 2. So let's look at this example. Pause the video and write down this information in your composition book. We will review how to find area of this trapezoid. When finding area of the trapezoid, it's important that you understand the dimensions. Again, we would need to use the formula base 1 plus base 2 times height divided by 2. So with that being said, let's decide what's base 1. Base 1 is 2, base 2 is 6. So these are the 2 bases of a trapezoid. The height is 3. We do not need to use the 4 in order to find the area because remember the area is the total space on the inside of a figure. So 2 plus 6 is going to give us 8. And then we're going to multiply 8 times 3, which is the height. And then we're going to get 24 and we divide that by 2. Pause the video and make sure you have all of this information written down. Our area is 12 inches squared. Remember, when writing area, we write it in square units. Area of a trapezoid. Let's write this information down on your composition book, please. Remember that the area of a trapezoid is base 1 plus base 2 times the height divided by 2. 4 and 5 are the 2 bases of our trapezoid. 3 represents the height. When solving for area of this trapezoid, we would use the formula area equals base 1 plus base 2 times height divided by 2. In order to solve this formula, we're going to substitute the letters for the dimensions from the picture. So the area equals 4 plus 5 times 3 over 2. 4 is base 1, 5 is base 2, 3 represents the height. Now we will use the order of operations to solve these problems. We will first add 4 plus 5, which gives us 9. Then we will multiply 9 times 3, which gives us 27. And then using the fraction bar, we will divide 27 by 2. The final answer for the area of this trapezoid is going to be 13.5 feet squared. Pause the video and write down all information in regards to the area of this trapezoid. Now, what happens if we are given the area, but we're looking for a dimension of the trapezoid? So in this case, we're going to look for the height. If you notice, this trapezoid has 2 bases, but no height. We do know that this trapezoid has an area of 22 meters squared. So we're going to use our formula, base 1 plus base 2 times the height divided by 2. And we're going to substitute the letters for the dimensions from the picture. We're going to then work backwards to figure out what is the height of this trapezoid. So replace base 1 with 8 and base 2 with 3. Again, base 1 and base 2 are interchangeable, so it doesn't matter which one you use as long as you know where they are. And then we're going to multiply that times the height. Well, we don't know the height, so we're going to just leave it as an h. And then we're going to divide that by 2. Once we add 8 plus 3, that gives us 11. So now we know the area of 22 is equal to 11 times the height divided by 2. In order for us to figure out the height, we're going to have to work backwards. So when we work backwards, the first thing we want to do is we want to find the height by multiplying 22 times 2. And then dividing that information by 11. Since 11 times the height was divided by 2, and we know that area is 22, we're going to multiply 22 times 2. We're going to double that in order to figure out what that total was before dividing it by 11. And once we divide it by 11, that will give us our height. Pause the video and get the answer to this question. Alrighty, so what is the answer to this particular question? Again, 22 times 2 is going to give us 44, and 44 divided by 11 will give us 4. So the height of this particular trapezoid is 4. Alright, here are notes on area of a trapezoid. Please write this information down in your composition book. This information will also be on your Google form to help you with some examples of area of a trapezoid. Remember to substitute the letters from the equation with the numbers from the problem or the shape. Also remember that area is written in square units, so always write square units next to your particular area. Alright, please don't forget to complete the Google form below. Make sure you answer all of the questions, and you want to get at least an 80% on this Google form. If you do not, please do corrections in order to bring up your grade. Also, don't forget about the distance learning expectations. Please make sure you read those. They will be posted on Google Classroom as well as this video about what your expectations are for this week. Remember, all assignments are due by 4 p.m. on Fridays. Have a great day.